Hi guys, I know it's been a while, but I'm back and today we're working on my summer plaid bucket hat in the colors ivory and turquoise and the yarn I Love This yarn by Hobby Lobby, and I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook. Now, I use a 4.5 millimeter hook on mostly everything, but if you do not and you use a different size hook, then you have to adjust how many increase rows you do. Now, if you go higher, you will have to do less increase rows, okay? So, this pattern calls for a color A and a color B. My color A is ivory and my color B is turquoise, okay? So pick your color A and your color B, get your hook, and let's get started. Okay, you're gonna pick up your color A and we're gonna start off with the slip knot. Now I do every hat with a chain 4. You could do a magic circle or you could do a chain 4. Either way, it's the same to start off. So we're gonna chain 4. Now you're gonna slip stitch into that first chain from the hook. That first chain from the hook, you're gonna slip stitch into. Now it leaves a little opening. Now we're gonna chain 2. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch in this entire hat. So we're gonna yarn over and we're gonna put in 12 double crochets. So that's 2, that's 3, okay, so we did 12. We're gonna pull on this string to make the hole tighter. Okay, so now we're gonna slip stitch into that chain 2 space right at the top. Okay, so it should look like this. Now we're on row 2. We're gonna chain 2. This is when we start introducing color B. So now we're gonna yarn over. Remember that this chain 2 space this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Right into that stitch, right next to that chain 2, we're gonna insert our hook. This row is the 2 double crochets in every stitch around. So we're gonna start over. We're gonna yarn over. We're gonna insert our hook into that stitch, and we're gonna complete a double crochet. Now we're gonna yarn over. We're gonna insert our hook back into that same stitch. We're gonna start a double crochet, but we're gonna stop, leaving 2 loops on our hook. Now, however you introduce your yarn in is how you're gonna do it. Some people start off with a slip knot, some people don't. I'm one of the people that don't start off with a slip knot. I just literally loop it over. And I'm gonna pull through to complete that double crochet. Now, I leave this part a little loose just because I'm noticing when I do tighten it, I kind of lose that stitch within this row. So I'm gonna yarn over, working over that tail of the turquoise, and then working over the ivory. You're gonna yarn over, you're gonna insert your hook into the next stitch, and you're gonna complete 2 double crochets. So you're gonna complete 1 double crochet. You're gonna start the next one, but you're not gonna finish it. You're gonna leave 2 loops on your hook. You're gonna drop that ivory. Oh, I don't know why I keep calling it You're going to drop that turquoise into the front. You're going to pick up your ivory and you're going to complete that double crochet. Now, working over the turquoise, you're going to yarn over. You're going to finish one double crochet, start the next one, don't finish it, leave 2 loops on your hook, pick up B, boom. Now we're going to keep doing that and switching colors in that second double crochet in each stitch. So it should look like something like this for right now. Yarn over. Boom. I feel like I should have just done it on TikTok. Now we're just going to, finish. Then we're going to yarn over. So this is the end of row 2. We're going to make sure that we have the correct amount of stitches. So it should be 24 in this row. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 24. So now that we're at the end of this, we're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space. Well, that chain 2, sorry. Slip stitch. Working over that turquoise, we're going to chain 2. So now that we have our chain 2, remember that this does not count as a stitch. Running yarn over right into that space right next to it, we are going to insert 1 double crochet. Now this pattern for this row is 1 double crochet increase, 1 double crochet increase. Now we're going to change colors when the color requires it to be changed, if that makes sense. So we're working in white, so we're going to stay in white. So 1 double crochet, an increase now. So we're going to put 2 double crochets. I'm going to drop that tail now, because it's little. Okay, so now I'm at that second double crochet in that increase. Now we're going to change color. So we're changing colors because now blue is coming. I'm going to yarn over. The pattern is 1 double crochet and then an increase. Okay. So now we're going to finish. We're not going to finish. We're going to leave 2 loops on our hook and we're going to change to white. Now we're just going to keep doing that. 1 double crochet, increase. But on that second double crochet in that increase stitch, we're going to change colors. So it should look like this. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 3. Oops. So now we're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space at the top. Why do I keep saying chain 2 space? That chain 2. And it should look like this so far. So now we're going to chain 2. Again, this does not count as a stitch. So now this row is 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then an increase. So we're going to yarn over right into that chain 2 space. Right into that stitch next to that chain 2 space. We're going to insert a hook, put a double crochet, 1 more double crochet, and then an increase. Now, again, we're going to change colors when we have to change colors. So we're now going into blue. So we're not going to complete that last double crochet. We're going to drop our yarn, pick up our other color, and then we're going to complete that double crochet. Now again, one double crochet, one more double crochet, increase. Not completing that last double crochet, we're going to drop our yarn and complete it. Boom. And we're just going to keep doing that for the whole row. One double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then an increase. Not completing that second double crochet in that increase stitch, dropping our yarn, picking up our next one, and finishing it off. So it should look like that so far. So I'm going to finish this row and I'm going to come back. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 4. Now, this is where it might get a little complicated. So for each square is 3 rows. So once you complete those 3 rows, you have to flip-flop the colors to make the plaid print. That makes sense. So we finishing off blue, right? So instead of switching to white, because white is already right here, we need to put blue here. We're going to finish it off in blue. Now we're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 with blue. Still working over that ivory. You're carrying your yarn through this whole project. We're going to chain 2. You're going to yarn over. Now this row is 3 double crochets, increase. So right into that chain 2 space. Sorry, not into that chain 2 space. Right into that stitch next to that chain 2 space, which is right, sorry, so you can see it, which is right here. We're going to yarn over. We're going to put that hook right in, do a double crochet. We're going to do 2 more double crochets in the next 2 stitches, leaving us with our chain 2, then our 3 double crochets. Now we're going to do an increase. If you notice, the increase always ends at this the last color, the last stitch in that color. That makes sense. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to do 2 double crochets. Just like in all the other rows, you're not going to complete that second. You're going to pick up your next color and then complete it. Pulling it tight. Should look like this. Now we're going to do it in white, doing 3 double crochets and then an increase. Okay. And pick up the blue, finish. So it should look like this. We're going to complete this row and I'll be back at the beginning. Okay, so we're back at the end of row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not me having to count the rows, but we're back at the end of row 5, and I didn't finish off the double crochet. So I'm gonna finish it off now. We left two loops on our chain, 2 loops on our hook. We are going to finish off with blue. We're going to slip stitch. Okay. So it should look like this. So now we're going to do 1 more row of increases, which are 4 double crochets and then an increase. Okay. We're going to chain 2. Right into that same space, we're going to put a double crochet. Sorry. We're going to put 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So that should leave you with a chain 2 and 4 double crochets. Now we're going to put an increase, right? Boom. Again, that increase is always right at the end of that color. We're going to switch to ivory, finish that off. Now again, we're going to do 4 double crochets. 1, this is 2, 3, sorry, this is 4, that last stitch is an increase. So we're going to put our increase in. We're going to switch colors. Okay. So that's the pattern for the rest of row 6. 4 double crochets and then an increase. And then you're going to switch colors. I'm going to be back once I finish. And then going forward is no more increases. Okay, so we're at the end of 1, 2, 3, 4, row 6. And this was our last row of increases. So I didn't finish off the row. I left 2 loops on our hook. I'm going to finish it off with blue. And then we're going to slip stitch into that top chain 2 space. Now we're going to do one more row, not of increases, just 1 double crochet in each stitch around, changing colors when we need to change colors. And then I'll be back. Okay, again, row 7 is just a regular row, no increases, 1 double crochet in each stitch around, changing colors when we need to. So chain 2, a double crochet into every stitch around. I'm going to change colors with you guys one time. Okay. We didn't finish. We left 2 loops on our hook. We're going to drop our yarn, pick up the next one, and change colors. And we're just going to keep doing that for the whole row. Once that's finished, I'll be back. Okay, so we're done with our first regular row, no increases, right? So I didn't finish it off because, like I said, when we finish this, we have to swap the colors once we do 3 rows of each color. So I didn't finish off the hook, the round, but I'm gonna finish it off in white because now white has to go on top of blue. So now we're gonna slip stitch into that top, that chain 2 space, that chain 2 stitch, sorry. Pull tight, making sure we're working over the yarn. We're in a chain 2. Now we're gonna do the same thing, just 1 double crochet in each row around, in each stitch around, changing colors when we need to. And we're gonna do this for 3 rows. Okay. We're going to do this for 3 rows. You can see that it's already like forming the hat. So we're just going to do 1 double crochet around, changing colors when we need to for the next 3 rows. I'm going to come back once I'm at the last row. Okay, so I'm done with the 3rd row of this one box. So we're going to switch colors. Well, we're going to stay with the same color, sorry. I'm going to finish it off in blue. Because again, to make the checkered, the plaid print, we have to switch colors for every 3 rows makes a block. So we're going to slip stitch in that chain 2 with blue, and it should look something like this right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 rows. My hats, the way I do my hats are 13 rows for the base of the hat in total, and then my ruffles start. Now it's all up to you how you want to do this. If you want to go more than 13 rows, you can, but you have to remember that the checker print is 3 rows to make a block, and then you switch. You don't want to lower these blocks or it's not going to look correct. Okay, so if you don't want to do 13, you will have to do 16. That's kind of long. So, or you could do what it would be 15, and then that first row of ruffles will be the third block, and then you have to put an extra row of ruffles in, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for the next 3 rows. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to just double crochet all around, changing colors when we need to. So we're at that last white. We're going to drop the blue, pick up the white. Okay, so I'm at row 13. So this finishes the base of the hat. Now we're on to the ruffles. So I finished it off in white because for the plaid print, we gotta switch, right? So we are going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space. So now we're gonna chain 2. Now this starts the rows of the ruffles. We're gonna have 6 rows of ruffles. We're gonna chain, hold on, I kind of want that a little tighter. Hold on. So we're going to pull tight. Okay. So I'm gonna chain 2. Now the pattern for the ruffle is row 1 of the ruffle, 1 double crochet, increase. One double crochet, increase. One double crochet, increase. Okay, it's the same as the whole hat. At the end of the color block, you're gonna change colors. Okay, boom. Now, 1 double crochet, increase. One double crochet, increase. 1 double crochet, increase. Okay, sorry. Now 1 double crochet. We're just going to keep doing this all around. I'll be back once we get to the end of this row. Okay, so we're at the end of the first row of the ruffles. I'm going to, swing back a little bit. I'm going to finish that double crochet with white, with ivory, and then go and slip stitch. So now we're at row 2 of the ruffles. We are going to chain 2. Now row 2 of the ruffles is 2 double crochets and then an increase. So 1, 2, and then an increase. One, 2, and then an increase. Okay, we changed colors because we're at the end of that block. I'm probably gonna lift up just a little bit. Okay, so we're at the end of that block, so we change colors. 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, then increase, 1, 2, then increase. Okay. Now we're just gonna literally just keep doing that until we get back to the end. 2 double crochets and then an increase, and change the colors when need to change colors. So okay, so I'm done with the second row of ruffles, and now we're on to the third. And we're gonna finish the blue off of white. We're gonna slip stitch into that chain 2, finish in a row. We're gonna chain 2, and now it's gonna be 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and increase. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, increase. Then 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna change colors because we have our 3 rows for the block. So we're gonna finish off with blue. I'm gonna tighten. We are going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space. Okay, now we're gonna chain 2. And now for the next 3 rows, we are just gonna do 1 double crochet in each stitch around, changing colors when the color needs to be changed. So some get stuck. Okay, so we're at the end of that white. So now we're gonna change, we're gonna drop our yarn. We're gonna change to white, and now white, sorry, now white goes. Okay, so I finished the last 3 rows. I cut my yarn off, and now I'm just going to tie it off really tight, as tight as you can. And then this blue one, since we sewed over it, I leave a little tail. Now you can do this either way you want. I leave a little tail and I pull so it'll bury itself in. And then I just weave this one in. You can comment down below. I'll answer. And if you're coming from TikTok, if you message me on TikTok, I will answer any questions that you have. Thank you guys for asking for this tutorial and having me come back to YouTube. See you guys in the next video.